Hello. I know it's been a while, folks, but welcome once again to our special presentation of Mr. Williams' Neighborhood. So let's begin. It's a paranoid day in the neighborhood, a wonderful day for debunking. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? No masters, no gods in the neighborhood. A wonderful day. It's a beautiful day, excuse me. For resistance. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? My comrade. I have always wanted a neighbor just like you to do all the things revolutionaries do. So, unlocking the truth on this wonderful day. And since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? My comrade. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? My comrade. Hey, folks. Know it's been a while for doing this particular show, but this is a shot. This is a sign of things to come. I'm going to be bringing a lot of things back, and a lot of new things are going to be tried, let's say. So, one of the things we're bringing back, of course, is Mr. Williams' Neighborhood. And this is the one I like to call, of course, this is one I like to call a fond review of the show. Now, for newcomers here, what is the show? Well, the show is a collaborative effort between myself and 7 Day, who's my collaborative partner, my sponsor here. You know, and you've heard the music. But for those of you who may be new or who may not be yet exposed to Delinquent Studios, also a YouTube channel, you gotta do is look it up. You'll see the blank faces, you know, the gray X'd out blank faces, and you see one guy in red giving double fingers. You know what I'm saying? You see that? You see that logo? That's the true Delinquent Studios there. And you'll be able to see the show, which is when I thought about it, you know, it was something that we were thinking about. We wanted to do a show together, and we thought, what would be what would be a name that we could provide that would kind of give us that element of hip hop that we want without being too cheesy or hokey. We tried, we would do the corporate hip hop and this, we would just figure it out. Then I said, you know what? How about we do the show? And the show, you know, the only thing I could think about in my search engine, in my brain, was that MLB's the show. Major League Baseball is the show, the video game that's been out for a while. And for those who may not know why they call it the show, in baseball, there's so many levels to baseball. You know, in football and basketball, you have college, you may have semi-pro, then you may have other countries that have professional, you know, football or basketball, but of course, the NFL and the NBA is seen as the major elite market. But that's pretty much, you know, what you have, and within that, and even within the NBA, you may have a certain D league. You may be part of an NBA team, but you're on the lower level team, you know, and you may have a chance to move up and get onto the actual live roster for an NBA team. But now Major League Baseball is much different. After college, you have so many levels. It's minor leagues, triple A. It's just so many levels before you actually get to Major League Baseball. And then once you get there, they'll be like, yeah, you made it to the show. So that explains that. But my inspiration for the show came from Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, the classic song of the same name. You know, it's just like that really foundation of where these two guys give you the multitude of what hip hop was. At one point, a mixture of a lot of things: charisma, flashiness, entertainment, lyrics. Just I mean, yeah, a complete show. I mean, a complete, well-rounded view within these two guys. And if you don't believe it, Dougie Fresh, even as up to a few years ago, had a song by, by, I believe, the LA Fashion District. I believe that was the name of the group. Teach Me How to Dougie. That song was about Dougie Fresh. It was mimicking his moves, his moves back in the day, and that's what the Dougie was. Slick Rick, if you look up Slick Rick and you see how he looks, his fashion, his tremendous many big gigantic gold chains and medallions, the many rings on his fingers, the bracelets, the watches and everything like that, the gold teeth, everything like that. Slick Rick was the pioneer of a lot of what you see today in that visual tone of it. And even down, look, eye patch, he had an issue with his eye. Always wore an eye patch. You only seen him with one eye. He did a lot of fashion with that, try to do that. But look, Fetty Wap, most recent guy, guy of the last few years, guy lost his eye. Essentially a one-eye rapper. I mean, there you go. You don't need to know hip hop and rap, and see how they've permeated within that. So there you have that. And also, it was just one of the first things we wanted to try to honestly see how we clicked, because, you just don't know. You're cool with somebody and you work together, you seem to, because this 7 Day is, again, for those who don't know, 7 Day is a guy who, when I was doing Mainframe Magazine, the last three to four issues that I did was either, completely on my own. I think only one was like that, but the two or three that I've done, other than that one, the last one that I did completely on my own was consistently with 7 Day, aka Marley Starr. But for branding purposes and everything, and YouTube channel 7 Day Productions, go over to YouTube channel, Instagram as well. Check them out. Serious inquiries out there, folks. You have 7 Day at 7dayisland.com. So if you want to get in contact with him about any beats, any deals, production help, engineering help, even some writing help, check him out. Definitely give him a shot. So, but basically, again, folks, fine look back on the show. This is Friendship. This is Mr. Williams' Neighborhood, an homage to the great Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And it brings me back once again to how great that guy was, and about acceptance and inclusiveness and friendship and love. And even dealing with a certain situation like the intense racism where people were draining pools of water because Black people had dared to swim in it. Instead of, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, instead of him making a heavy show and going over the kids' heads, he said, you know what? I'm going to have a kiddie pool. I'm going to be sitting out. It's hot outside. I want to be at the kiddie pool, cooling myself. I have little holes. Let me spraying on my feet, just cooling myself. We have, I believe it was the police officer. No, mailman. I believe it was mailman. But came over. He was a Black man. Either way, either character he played, I cannot remember right now. I believe it was a mailman or a police officer, but he was Black, African American, whatever you like to say. And he was hot out there. He offered for him to come into the kiddie pool and cool himself off, put his feet in and let him cool himself off. That little gesture to a lot of other kids, there'll be little kids watching. There were little kids watching that show, watching that episode that were not racist, that may have been on that pathway unknowingly, that may have, never had an experience or any sort of, view interaction that would show, it's okay, it's nothing wrong with it, because maybe you've heard a bunch of shit and you just never know. And for Mr. Rogers to make that gesture, to make that effort, but in such a way that it's not about pointing to, this is what happened and this is what I think about that, and this is, they're wrong and right, and it's, he could no he said, you know what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put myself in a certain position to where it's a kiddie pool. For those, for the adults who may be thinking, pool, okay, here's an African American character that I wanted on my show. Here, we're going to sit together in this kiddie pool and we're going to cool ourselves off. That's the kind of effort and that's the kind of way he would go to show his acceptance, to show his friendship and love for people. And this is, what life is. You have a team member, you're trying to get through life. You're trying to figure this whole crazy situation out and make the best of this life for yourself. And as a person who has a lot in common with 7 Day, I know that life can be a struggle trying to figure this out with all the complications, all the responsibilities and priorities. Life can be a struggle. And so if you wonder, is there something to, those who may have a question, is there something to him not being here? You're pushing a lot of his content and everything like that, but he's not here. He is here. We communicate. He's out there on his channel putting that music out. He's trying to make sure he gets things in order, because we have our own branding, our own individual branding to do. But I can definitely tell you that I've conversed with him. And I think it's pretty safe for me to say that we've conversed, and, it's definitely been agreed upon that we're definitely going to be getting a couple of more episodes of the show done before year's end. Now, granted, we're in October, in early October now. So we have through October, November, and December, to make good on what I'm bringing out to you right now. So I feel confident about that, and we'll definitely get that done. So for those of you who may be wondering, is there a reason why he's, looking back on his first episode of the show? Yeah, that is a part of, that's definitely is a part of why I'm doing this, or what I'm getting at here, because I want to reignite interest of the show. See what we were doing, see how we click and how we connect, how we bounce off each other. Now, mind you, I'm going to be completely real with you on these situations, because that's what this is about. Now, seriously, when we talked initially, when we prepped for the show, we pre-prepped for the show, um, it was more of a situation where my guy 7 Day, that guy, he's a beast on the mic. He's a hell of a writer. The production, you've heard it. So it's like, but he's a guy, when it comes to just sitting there and talking and conveying thought, he felt like he might not be able to offer a lot. He's just a real humble guy that way. And I think that's where the true greatness comes, from people who are willing to be humble. But when it comes to stepping up, they step the hell up. And that's exactly what he did when we actually did the show. I got into a mind frame when we started the show that, okay, I needed to talk up a little bit just to make sure that we're good, so things don't lag. And let me just make sure that we're good, because I got my guys back. I'm excited about doing the show. So whatever's needed to make sure that this thing goes smoothly, I'm going to make sure that that's done. But when we started doing the show, as you'll hear, I mean, he was great. So sometimes I kind of overtalk, because it was just a lot of excitement, a lot of adrenaline that you had to burn down before, so you can kind of slow up and kind of get into a comfortable groove into the show. So as you'll hear, I got into that groove, eventually into the show. But of course, initially I was a little. So when you have that on your brain of, I'm gonna make sure that I'm there and I have my friends back, I have my partner's back in here when we do the show. No worries here. And then you realize, okay, this guy's great. I really don't need to do this. So let me kind of hang back. Let me kind of make sure I slow this down and kind of work within the situation a little bit more. And it was just as fun, just as great. You realize after a while, an hour's going by, and it's like, wow, fucking hours going by. It's fucking crazy, But let's just get ready to start getting this going, folks. Start getting the producciones together. And while we're doing that, why not? Why not go ahead and take this magic moment, and play a little something from my partner himself, 7 Day. Once again, let's get that done. And again, folks, we're talking about a lot of years that have been invested, definitely. Again, I can't, it's hard for me not to acknowledge that people were around when this thing started and definitely played a role. But I definitely can say that when it comes to 7 Day, that he played a significant role in what Mainframe Magazine became. I can definitely tell you that without any hesitation. I can tell you that he absolutely. So let's see. We got a couple new ones here. So let's see. Got a few new ones, as a matter of fact, since I've done a show. And yeah, all of these things that I'm doing that may seem a little hokey to people, or they may question it, or why are you doing all of this? Because this is what I'm about. I'm about promoting. I'm a journalist. So as journalism, I do media, and as you have learned through the ABCs of anarchy, that propaganda is not always a negative thing. Propaganda is any message that's being sent through the media. So if it's a message that, you know, 7 Day is great, check out, check out his music, check out his site, that's propaganda that I'm sending you. If I'm lying to you, or if I'm just trying to do this because I got some other scheme in mind, you'll find that out and you'll realize that I use it in a negative way. But if you find out that I'm right, and you will find out that I'm right, you'll be able, you'll realize that the propaganda again can be shown in a way that, let me see. Did we get this one? Okay. Okay. Let's just start here. Let's start here. All right, folks. Let's also make sure I want to do a couple of things. Okay. X is for xylography. Xylography is the art of printmaking by wood cutting. Lots of propaganda, especially anarchist propaganda, has been produced using xylography. What was the last picture you drew? What are all of the different ways you have made pieces of art? I mean, I haven't done wood making, honestly, in quite some time. But I have drawn pictures before. I just believe I was doodling at one point and just made this. I like to make crazy little worlds, and you know what I'm saying, that exist in my head, and just start like I just started. I just created this picture where I just showed this wide. It was kind of like a wide shot of what I felt like would look like if you were just kind of stood back and looked at, space, and then looked at, what I'm saying, the ocean, and be able to look right into the ocean and see everything that was going on in the ocean and everything that was going on in space, and just be able to have that sort of clear view of the situation. I think I've done that. Well, I know I've done that. So, and why? Wow, it's for youth hostel and an inexpensive alternative to a hotel. When spending the night at a youth hostel, you may stay in a large room with many people. Fortunately, this enables you to meet new friends and share interesting stories. What might be some differences between spending the night on your own versus sharing a room with many other people? When are some times you would rather sleep alone, and when might you prefer to sleep in a room with others? Well, of course, if depending on what you're traveling for, you know, I mean, I say festivals, concerts, certain events or conferences or things like that. It may be cost effective, to do a hostel thing, or bed and breakfast. That's more of the traditional type of thing, or even Airbnbs these days. You know, the Airbnb. Also, I forget what the other one was, but I believe that's the biggest one anyway. But um, so basically, there are ways to do it when you're traveling to do it inexpensive, or if you want to do it big style, but not completely do it big style. Like you could rent a big place and rent, a couple, rent it for a certain point in time, and you know, kind of do it big time just for a little bit, even for a couple of days, and you're paying a little bit. It's better than having to completely like rent a place out. It makes sense when you think about it. I try not to think about it though. But let's see. So we've done that. We've talked. Let's just see. People want impeachment process for Donald Trump the way people want an impeachment process for Bill Clinton. Um, all I could say is that on the anarchist side of this, being Mr. Williams, is that of course, folks, government is bullshit. Okay, I mean, what do you want me to say? This is what it has. This is what we have to get to at certain points. Government is bullshit. When are we going to arrive to that? And this guy or that guy, you know, folks, if you read up, you check into some things, the rise of the corporate president, I mean, it's happened. If you've heard anything about that type of thing, if you've seen any movies to where they speak about America being looked at and being operated as a corporation, and how certain people are like CEOs of that corporation more than a president. Folks, we got to a point where certain presidents weren't looked at. Certain presidents were war presidents. We were at a certain point where, like, presidents were defined as war presidents. You had guys that when it came to certain conflicts, certain things, certain wars, they were the guys that would take up the mantle, handle business, and that's how they were recognized. You had certain, you know, you had certain presidents that were, treaty presidents that were more of diplomatic presidents. So some of them were defined by that, or industrial presidents. They helped to usher in new inventions and new things into the world. As president, they helped lead us into that era. But with the election of Ronald Reagan, who was a former actor who became a politician, that's what ushered in the face man era. The even in some ways, Richard Nixon, you know, in some ways. I mean, you may face man, he may not be like the classically good looking guy, but when it came to the way he just, drummed up the headlines with how he spoke in the media, certain things that he would do, what I'm saying? To me, that was more, that's the closest connection. And what I feel like to Donald Trump, if you look at, just really look at Richard Nixon and his tenure and compare it to Donald Trump, you'll really see some parallels there. You know, much the way you might see parallels with John F. Kennedy and Barack Obama. You know, you may see some parallels there. But at the end of the day, that face man president ushered these guys like Barack Obama, John F. Kennedy, so on and so forth, Bill Clinton, these face men that get in the media and they can speak and they can be clever and they'll do certain things and they can be controversial, even polarizing at certain points. But at the end of the day, as as controversial as they can be, as well intentioned as some of them, even are at times, like a John F. Kennedy, you realize at certain points he can be dealt with and no one will ever really truly know, and those who know will never be believed. And what actually happened to John F. Kennedy, and who was really complicit in what's happened, they'll never think about, Barack Obama and how his, continuing tax cuts for the rich, extending the bailouts for those banks and corporations and whatnot, it was just a continuance of what George W. Bush did in his presidency. It's when you start looking down the line at things that should have been done, things that said they were going to get done and weren't done, you'll start to realize, the fallacy in all of this. So take it as what you will. People keep saying that if you don't vote, you can't complain. A lot of us disagree. See, because I don't vote and I don't vote somebody in that's going to lie and bullshit you and not keep their promises, I have a right to complain because all of you voted that idiot in. And now I can complain about the fact that we should not have voted him in the first place, or either one of those people. But okay, we've done all that. So now I've done my anarchist thing a little bit. Now we're going to do the Mr. Rogers friendship thing. And we're going to get right to the show after further ado. But I just gave 30 minutes to you people. I gave 30 minutes of talking backstory. I mean, I think I did a pretty good job here talking backstory, talking music here. I mean, I think I gave quite a bit here. So there we go. Get into the video section here. Get everything up here. Okay, so even though that all you're going to see is the screen that bears our logo, for our show, pretty awesome, right? But I still believe in the production and the timing of it because I just believe in that. And so I want that, even though you might not notice that there's any off timing here, I want to, I still want to be, I'm still that person that wants to make sure that, that the thing, that the effort is there, that you see the effort being put into making sure that I do this, that I, even though I'm like being creative and like doing things my own way, I still want to show you and give you something that you can appreciate. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Now, I have to caution you folks, we may have to do a two-parter on this one because this is an hour and 41 minutes. I totally forgot, because that's what I'm trying to tell you. We got so in the zone that an hour and 41 minutes goes by and we just realized, well, more like an hour and 35, 36 minutes goes by, and we realize, like, wow, we've been at it for a while. Maybe we should go ahead and call it, at this point. But yeah, it was fun. So we may have to split this up, but I, and maybe I should have got more into the show and less into the talking. But I wanted to make sure that that, hey, I can speak and I can talk and I can keep it continuous and keep it rolling, folks. That's what I can do. So without further ado, once again, let's get into the show.
What's going on out there, everybody? It's 7 Day. If you don't know, you about to find the fuck out. I'm here with my co-host. This is Aeronautics, H. Will. We'll just keep it at H. Will right now.
Look at that production. But see, the only thing that messed me up, I forgot about the muting on that one. Sorry, folks. We're going to try this again and make sure we get it right this time. Okay, apologize, folks. Let's do it one more time and get the timing right. And this time we got the sound where we needed to be. The only sound that should matter here. So let's, without further ado. Oh, see, I was about to make a calculated error. So there we go. Without further ado, let's.
What's going on out there, everybody?
Nope. See, there we go. All right, let's try it again. Ready, go.
What's going on out there, everybody? It's 7 Day. If you don't know, you about to find the fuck out. I'm here with my co-host.
This is Aeronautics, H. Will Williams. We'll just keep it at H. Will for right now. I think that's a little snappier. That works. And thank you for tuning in to the first show, the first episode. Guys, do that right. The first episode of the show.
Indeed.
Our nod, our acknowledgement to hip hop, and we're gonna talk all things hip hop and try to, be all things hip hop if we can be. But at least we're gonna do some talking. So,
just our little contribution to the culture that gave us so much, in the right way, though.
Exactly.
Let's start off with a little bit of background, though, man, so people get to know. How did you first fall in love with hip hop? What is the first thing that put you onto it?
Wow, that is a great. See, that's why I'm loving this combination already. That's a great question, and very few people ask that question. See, I'm so geeked up, y'all. Say that while I do acknowledge the history, of the Sugar Hill Gang and so forth, and Africa Bambaataa, but truly for me, what connected me to hip hop initially, what really kind of spoke to where I was, Run DMC when I was a kid, seeing how they dressed, seeing how they talk, seeing how they, seeing how they just move along with certain things like that. That was the point that really got me like locked into, hip hop in a big, big, big way. And then, it just kind of went on from there, honestly. But yeah, that was really the start where I was like, yeah, like this speaks to me right here.
Hell yeah. That should connect a lot of people. It speaks in a way that a lot of other music really can't speak. I like the way that it does that, you know what I'm saying? For me, it was just, I came up in around the same era, man, but my brother was a little bit older, so he was bumping all that shit, like Daisy Dukes and KRS-One and all that shit. So I got put onto that shit pretty early, but, like, personally, I came in like, the DMX era, the Big Pun era, when I really got into that shit. I was like, yo, this shit is fucking dope, you know what I'm saying? Just the way they was flipping the lyrics and shit and everything really blew my fucking mind, man. The way the wordplay and everything. I was like, yo, I ain't never heard nothing like this in my life. It's like a whole nother level of poetry. That was back in the day, though, man. Like, Prodigy was on the radio with no chorus. You know what I'm saying? He said that shit in the song too. He said heavy airplay all day with no chorus. We keep it thorough. And that shit was really on the radio all fucking day. That was a number one hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you get to see now you're getting to that point where because and I definitely feel you, and that's definitely where we both agree because Run DMC, like I said, when I was a kid, too young to go out, too young to buy records, too young to do that, but that was where, like I said, that definitely the love began. But then when I started to get into the '90s and we started to take a hold of what I was like for myself, I definitely have to say, man, it was that AZ album. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Go or Die, man. That was like
classic.
yo, when I got my hand, when I was able to finally get my hands on that AZ joint, I was like, man, that right there, that fuck with my head something like the way you was talking about with Prodigy, and like you was hearing Big Pun the way it was like that's what that was hearing AZ. You know what I'm saying? From me on that, on that album, man, it was like it was killer. That was one of the big shits for me right there. That and Reasonable Doubt, honestly, from Jay Z, that was one of the ones that was really like, yeah, man, I was like loving that shit.
AZ, big shout out to AZ too, man. He don't really get a lot of love. Nobody really bring him up, man. He's nice. Kid is nice. Everybody knows he's nice, but like I don't know nobody that really brings him up, man. So big shout outs to you too for bringing him up, man. See?
Oh, no problem, man. I'm telling you, man, like that's the one thing that people are gonna find out about us when they get to know us and start listening to these shows, man, is that we're real hip hop heads, man. I don't play around about this, man. This is I grew up as hip hop, grew up, man. Even though it was a little bit older than me, and saying everybody was that music was really getting out there, but it's like I really kind of came along as if I was coming along. So yeah, man. If you don't mention AZ, man, in my opinion. What I'm saying? I'm worried about how much you really know about MCs, man. If you don't mention the AZ, man, there's no way you can not talk about. I know what how lyrics are about. I know what bars are about, and not mention AZ. There's no way.
Yeah, man, that's a common thing I run into now. Like a lot of the younger cats say they got bars, and I'm like, you definitely don't, bro. You're saying the same shit that was old that these niggas said in the fucking '80s, and it was old back then. I'm saying like a lot of niggas just I don't know, man. I think the standards are lower today, so people think they're better than they are, so they get more shine than they are. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I definitely, it's definitely been something that I've been talking and writing about for a while. I felt like I think that a lot of people are intimidated by somebody with great skill. It's like to know that there are guys like Nas out there, to know that guys like Jay Z out there, to know that guys like AZ and Eras wanted to seem to have this, and even guys over the day like a Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole. It's like you get intimidated by a guy with that kind of skill.
Yeah.
So that's why I think a lot of people are more resigned to sort of prop up somebody who has way less skill than that. So that gives them that hope that maybe they can get on and get money and get a little bit of notoriety with much less skill than someone at the level of a J. Cole or or Kendrick Lamar or even a Royce the 5'9". Once again, but I hope I get some shout outs from people out there because I'm mentioning Royce the 5'9". Because it's one thing to mention Eminem, in my opinion, but to mention Royce the 5'9", I mean that dude is absolutely vicious. You know what I'm saying? When properly motivated, that dude can be absolutely vicious on. And I mean, it's just people are intimidated by that, and they don't want to have to live up to that level. So if we like these other guys that don't really say much, if we like these guys that don't know how to ride a beat at all, that just say, what, fuck it, I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say, and even if it don't match or ride or compliment the beat at all, I'm just gonna do it, and it's gonna sound good because I'm marketable, which is yeah.
That's like this nigga Blueface came out. You saw when he first came out, he couldn't even rap. He couldn't even stay on the beat. But for some reason, he got the hit, right? So it's like, all right, man. Came out with that.
Oh, but you know why he got that hit. You know why that shit is popular.
He's a fucking
Cardi B is why it's just popular.
Yeah, man. Cardi.
Yeah, she pretty much dominated and killed that whole song to where I gotta be honest, I only listen to that song to hear her motherfucking part because she goes so hard and so nasty in that shit. It's like
Yeah, man.
it's like goddamn, how you let one female kill all y'all motherfuckers on this track, man? No misogyny. Like I got great respect for females and their skill. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, damn, one female coming in and just fucking and and fucking submit that song for you, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. And also, bringing it back, big shout out to Royce, dog. I think I've been putting niggas on to Royce since back when he was fucking with Eminem. And niggas didn't want to believe me. They only cared about Eminem, right? But now all of a sudden, yeah, he's popping. And it's about time because he deserved that shit. You know, he been putting in a lot of work. He's stupid nice. And
Oh yeah, man.
honestly,
Oh
like,
yeah, when you
yo, he put
oh, I'm
out
sorry, go ahead.
the Book of Ryan, that album he put out, is definitely one of the best albums in hip hop history, dog. I would say just in music history, period. It's a whole different type of thing. It's not even hip hop. It's like a fucking movie, dog. From beginning to end, every track seamlessly flows into each other and continues the story of his life. And it tells his life like it is an actual autobiography. That shit is some whole other shit that I really ain't heard nobody else do like that to that level.
Man, you know what, man? That is definitely well put. And then I would just piggyback off of that and say, man, how many motherfuckers you know now? I understand that D12 is not, you know, and D12, for those who don't know, those are sort of the glorified entourage, I guess you might say, of Eminem. They were trying to rap, but, you know.
Niggas was garbage.
Okay. Well, you know what? See, that's,
Except
you know, every once in a while when I get a little timid about saying those things, I'm pretty sure my creative partner over here, see, he's gonna pretty much put a nice little period on that one, and I guess he did that just now, folks. So just watch for those.
I mean,
But
shout out to Proof,
I'm definitely gonna say,
Proof though, he was nice. Proof.
Yeah, he was, and again, peaceful journey to Proof, you know, and but when you got a guy like Rosie Bob now who will take on multiple guys like that and eat them alive. I mean, there's a lot of guys who be willing to do that.
Solo, the whole crew, 6 of them niggas, all by himself. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, it was vicious.
Malcolm X.
And it wasn't weak, and it wasn't like he was throwing out little nothings. He was eating them guys alive.
Yeah, man, Malcolm X, one of the hardest diss tracks still to this day, bro. Came at Bizarre crazy. He made him look stupid on that shit. Yo, man. But then it's like, we got these older cats. Then we got the new generations coming up, though. We got the Coles, the Kendricks. What do you think about Griselda, bro? Like Conway, West Side Gun. These niggas hit Benny.
I'm trying to give more connection to the new shit. So I'm trying to really formulate my notes before I really shout some names out. I know for a while, man, I'm still one of them cats that's still like, once I see a cat make a certain shift, like with Lupe Fiasco, I'm still checking for this guy. You know what I'm saying? There's another guy that he did a collaboration with recently named D1. You know what I'm saying? From out of New Orleans, man. You know what I'm saying? Light skinned cat, you know what I'm saying? Dreads, man. He was really putting out, a lot of good shit. He was really kind of coming at it from a different, you know what I'm saying, angle also, man. I don't know if you ever heard of D1?
Nah, I'm gonna have to check that shit out.
Yeah, he first came out on YouTube where he did this song where he actually did a song in a video where he basically was sort of like talking, where he sort of went into this meeting, he had all those paparazzi following him, and he went in to go and meet with Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and Lil Wayne, and sort of like, you know, so he was basically sort of talking to, you know, the sort of like impressions of them and talking about what they feel like they should have did or what he felt like they should have did to sort of contribute more positively to the game and everything like that and shit like that. It was kind of innovative the way he did that, you know what I'm saying? And since then, he's been doing a lot of shit. You know, he's been coming, you know, in his own lane with that, you know, with that kind of shit, man. But he's got that New Orleans style, man. It's almost like, I'm going to go as far as to say, and I've said it myself before, but now that we record the show, I think I'm going to go ahead and say it, man. If I say D1 is like Lil Wayne, if he was more focused and was really about evolving his skills and really trying to be substantial, he would be D1.
It's a big statement.
Yeah, that is. You know what I'm saying? It is. And I thought about it for a long time when I first heard it. And the more I hear him, the more I'm like, that's what it would be for me, man. If Lil Wayne decided, like, man, look, I'm gonna go ahead and really get off all this other bullshit and really be on some real spitting shit, he would be like this nigga D1. And I think I'm gonna start taking some notes, man, on some guys. And I think we should sort of, like, the next time we possibly do a show, we should, you know, try to bounce some some music off each other that maybe the other one hadn't heard, and see, what we think about, the other one's offering, and just, hey, I gotta be willing to take it in and say you might not like, to some of the artists that, say that I thought might be hot, I'm willing to take that chance.
Yeah, man, I'm down with that. You heard of this dude, Mick Jenkins?
Yeah.
What you think of him, bro? I just recently heard about him. I heard this track called "The Waters." That shit was pretty next level to me, dog. I was impressed.
Yeah, man, I'm liking you. I'm liking these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like this. Also, it seems like it's a theme with that, man. It seems like the more guys are kind of getting more into putting their like real names out there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's sort of like they're really trying to strip down all the facade and just really get out there to get the real spit, man. Like Ben Staples, man. What do you think about Ben Staples?
I haven't really heard him, B. I've heard a lot of people talking about him, though. I've heard a lot of that. A lot.
Okay, well I know there's somebody that you definitely have heard about, and he definitely has a very unique flow and delivery. What do you think about Chance the Rapper?
Chance the Rapper is in his own lane, man. He's kind of like a weird version of J. Cole almost. You know what I'm saying? Like that's another dude. I didn't get a chance to listen to his catalog. I heard a few songs and I was digging it. It was cool. I like his little. You know what I mean? It's not something that like I personally would bump like in the car or nothing like that. But I listen to it. It's dope. I'll give him his props. He got skills. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, now I'm gonna go a different way, and well, not a different way. I'm gonna go another way with just like somebody who's even a bit more unique than that, man. I'm gonna throw out there Childish Gambino.
That kid is a star, bro. He got all the skills. He could sing his fucking ass off. He could write dope lyrics. He could rap too. He could spit. He got bars. So it's like, man, that kid. I would say he's going places, but he's already there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's not really much else to say. That make it nice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that Atlanta show, man. It's like I fucking love that show, man.
The TV show, I don't know, man. I don't watch too much TV. I'm all music, big. No time.
Oh, okay. Well, he executive produced the show called Atlanta, man. Where it's based on music, man. He plays this guy called Ernest. You know what I'm saying? Nickname Ernest. Well, basically Ern for short. You know what I'm saying? It worked. You know what I'm saying? It works sweet like that, right? But he played. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to figure out his life, man. Trying to get up some money and shit like that, man. He got this daughter, man, and his girl. It's sort of like it's like weird on and off situation. When he got his money up and he can stay there, you know, so he good to stay there. Otherwise, he got to find other places to chill out. And then he got this cousin, you know, that basically is out there trying to rap what I call himself paperboy and shit like that. And he was starting to get hot in the streets, man. The song went viral. He was starting to get on. He started to try to manage, you know what I'm saying, his cousin paperboy and, you know what I'm saying, try to build a career and shit like that. So a lot of the story was kind of surrounding, you know what I'm saying, that type of situation.
Word. I think I seen previews. It had like a hustle and flow kind of art direction on it, right?
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, but he actually won a Golden Globe for that shit. As a matter of fact,
that's like fuck. I don't even know what the fuck that is. That's like I know Grammys, right? The Grammys is for movies,
the
right?
Grammys is like the big shit for music. That you know what I'm saying. The Oscars would be like for the movies, you know, so for the most part, but the Golden Globes is like for movies and TV. But he won like the Golden Globe for having like the best, you know, TV show, you know, and whatnot.
Okay. I know 50 Cent going for that with his shit. He got a few shows now, man.
But the shit is kind of, you know what I'm saying. But the shit he got going on with that Atlanta shit, man, is really kind of funny, and it's like so fucking, it's like so fucking real, man. Oh boy, man, with Keith Stanfield, man. He's done a couple of, you know what I'm saying, movies, man. He's like the role that he plays in that shit is, you know what I'm saying, it's hilarious, man. It's like the shit is kind of tight, man. You know what I'm saying? The way everything was kind of working, man, and like just kind of dealing with a dude that's trying to get on and trying to be a rapper, but still trying to keep it, you know what I'm saying, real, and all the pitfalls that he get into when he try to keep it real and shit like that. Like he don't understand, like niggas start to see him as like a fucking star, and he kind of be out there, you know, roaming the street, like, you know what I'm saying, like he's still a regular dude and shit like that. It's all kind of fun to see how that shit unfolds.
So you gotta realize you're a target once you get that. Once you get out.
Like even a little bit when you out there doing celebrity basketball tournaments, you know, celebrity basketball games and shit like that, and motherfuckers seeing that.
You can't go
It's
home
like
after
you
that.
didn't understand.
You gotta move after that. You can't go back to the hood after that.
Yeah, this nigga Paperboy dog, he could just walk, get himself some chicken, just go out there chilling, man, and got fucking robbed by some little young niggas, man.
Yeah, man. You see what happened to Nipsey Hussle, bro? That shit is real. You can't fuck around like that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate shows like that though, man. They celebrate the culture. You know what I'm saying, in a positive way.
Definitely, and that's definitely with Donald Glover, by the way, aka Childish Gambino, was trying to do, and definitely is trying to do with that show. He's definitely showing that everybody, he's definitely showing different types of black people up there. You know what I'm saying? Just different aspects that show that there are people that really exist. There's some people that grew up, what I'm saying, that are half black and half white, and grew up with a certain culture that we're not used to. Like this girl, she grew up, they're very entrenched in like German culture. So that's like the other part of her life and shit like that. So, he tried to support that, but that shit is coming off kind of weird wearing those fucking outfits and doing all those damn dances and playing those weird ass games that seem to have like it's of racism maybe, but we never know.
Yeah.
It's like
There's that little hint there. It's there, but you just can't really, fucking. It's. I think this is like a new thing going on. Though there's a lot of hip hop shows out now. Netflix is just flooded with hip hop shows, and I feel like I don't really know how to feel about it, to be honest with you. I feel like it's maybe kind of culture vulture type of behavior. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I appreciate them celebrating my culture. But then at the same fucking time, I don't want somebody that's like 15 that just goes on Netflix and watches the hip hop show to sit here and try to tell me about hip hop and think they know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know how to feel about that.
well, but that's why it's important for people like us. There's this combination that comes together like us because you hardly see this combination coming together. And by this combination, I mean you got on the one side, you got 7 Day over here, an MC, a producer, a writer, a prolific writer in his own right, books, novels, and then you have myself who is, a music journalist, and in this arena here, of course, I'm going to specify that, of course, hip hop journalist. I'm an off drummer writer, and things like that. But rarely you see these two companies come together to be able to speak about certain things because most times it's a thing of it's that whole superstar athlete syndrome that happens in a lot of other industries where, a journalist or a critic gets looked down on by a rapper or a superstar because they feel like you're not doing it or you wish you could do it. And that's why you're talking about talking about what I'm doing. So it's always been that disconnect to where you don't really get a full perspective on hip hop, from different angles. So I think this is going to be a good show. And not to disrespect and say there aren't other shows, like that. I'm just saying that I kind of like this combination coming together.
Yeah, there's a lot more integrity, if I would say that's the right word, but just a little bit more. We giving a little bit more. But yeah, man, fuck. While we on this, what do you think about just what's the dopest duo that you could think of in hip hop, just history, period?
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm glad, and man, you see, this is what I'm talking about right here, man. Folks, we're gonna. This is gonna be like this.
See, like I said, a little hyped up a little bit, a little at first, but
we're gonna be on point. And I'm gonna say first before we get into that, I'm gonna say that I think we need to eliminate possibly to some people some obvious, disqualifications as far as great duos that we would have loved to have talked about, but and there's some that may not be as obvious. So I guess I want to go ahead and get through those real quick. Run DMC, we have to eliminate Run DMC, of course, although they are great, pioneering, legendary, everything. All this superlative that you want to give them, they're not a duo. You have Run, you have DMC, and you have Jam Master Jay. They're all equal parts. They are a trio. That's why when Jam Master Jay was, so viciously taken out in his own fucking studio, which I will be discussing on another show. They couldn't go on. That was their member. You can't go out here and just go as a duo, replace him with just another regular DJ. That's not
I can't replace that, man. Shit, That's like replacing DJ Premier. You can't do that, bro.
Exactly. So and that is a duo that I definitely, by the way, we're gonna put a pin in that because that's definitely a great duo in a lot of different ways that I definitely want to discuss. But also we got to eliminate, of course, Kid and Play. A lot of people like Kid and Play, but Kid and Play is not just really a duo. Although they seem like a duo over the last few years, but when they were in their heyday, they were not a duo. It was Kid, Play, and DJ Wiz.
Yeah.
So
forget.
We gotta unfortunately we gotta eliminate them as well as Salt and Pepper. They're parallel. It was like the female parallel to Kid and Play was Salt and Pepper, and much like Kid and Play, you only hear about the two, but there was a third, Spinderella. And even Spinderella, if you see now, wasn't the original Spinderella that was a part of Salt and Pepper. So there you go with that. So that's just eliminating a few of the obvious, and it's kind of giving you a bit of a sort of like danger zone or sort of out of bounds when it comes to what are duos and what are not. So when we say duos, we mean a twin C combination and just that,
like a mob
or yeah, exactly, like that, exactly like that, or a DJ and an MC combination like Eric B and Rakim. And we can even discuss producer duo combinations like the Neptunes, for example. So just kind of giving a basis of how we're going to speak about this here. So, but here's one that I want to challenge you on. Maybe I'm challenging you on, maybe not. I might be surprised on this. But the one I want to start with as far as great duos go, it may surprise some people, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Nah, that's not a surprise at all, bro. What are you talking about? They both got crazy skills. I don't think anybody ever questioned Will Smith's skills. They just questioned, like, he was doing a lot of corny songs and shit because they're pop. You know what I mean? Everybody fucks with Will Smith, man. He can spit, bro. Like, yo, Jazzy Jeff is a pioneering DJ. He's still doing it to this day, still killing it on the turntables. Shout out to Jazzy Jeff.
And by the way, I'm going to say that Brand New Funk, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, but Brand New Funk, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince was probably should be up there in the all-time greatest hip-hop songs ever made.
Yeah, definitely. They made quite a few bangers. They've made hip-hop history, for real. People don't want to, I think you should acknowledge that they definitely changed it, man.
Yeah, and they were, and like it or not, they could have took the scab route during the Grammys, if they wanted to. But they decided, right along with everybody else, to protest the Grammys for not broadcasting, for not televising, their award, and not televising and not showing any performance from any hip hop artists. They were part of that protest that got, they got changes made, to the Grammys. So that also has to be done.
Much respect to them. Making major changes out here. Motherfuckers is over here trying to change what lean they drinking. These niggas is changing the game. Fuck that shit. You got.
That's what I definitely is, and I'm left surprised here, folks. By the way, I'm left being the one surprised because I didn't think that he would build into that one, quite that way. But see, sometimes you forget true hip hop heads, know the real, and I gotta trust that my collaborative partner here knows the real like I do. So, let's.
For sure.
Lesson learned. Let's just say lesson learned on that one.
Like I always say, man, I'm willing to give everybody a chance, 2 chances, 3 chances even. You know what I'm saying? But the real shit is always gonna shine, and I'm always gonna not fuck with that other shit, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just call it fuck shit.
Okay.
So we got it.
So throw one out there for me, man. Who do you put out there? Who comes to your mind? As like a great, a great duo, a great hip hop duo that that has been out there in history, but either in past history or somebody that you feel like that you check for even now, like the old bar on.
I mean, I was gonna say 2 people. They're not really a duo. I was gonna say Jadakiss and Styles when they go back and forth. It's like some phenomenal next level shit. And then who the fuck else was it?
See, you connect on this, man. See, I'm right with you on that, man. Because a lot of times I feel like Ghostface and Raekwon qualify.
Yeah, that was the next group I was gonna say, man. Like they're not really a duo, but they kind of a duo. They do a lot of shit together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They released albums together.
Yeah, they do. Both most of the time they'll do a solo. They do a solo shit. Most of the time you can count on Raekwon being on one of a few Ghost shit, or you know, the Ghost being on a few Raekwon shit.
I noticed like with the other members, it's not like that though, man. Like Meth will be on some tracks. I don't really see like Inspector Deck on none of their tracks unless it's a Wu-Tang album. You know what I'm saying? I don't see Jizz on nothing. I think Ghost and Ray are really the only two that lock in like that together like that.
Because it's like with Jizza, I feel like with Jizza, and even with like Old Dirty Bastard, those guys are like on some weird other level shit, some other chamber shit. So it's like it's them guys, you got to get them guys in space, like like for different reasons. Like Jizza the G he's got such a flow in such a way that he thinks that it's hard to really be able to collab with a guy like that unless you're really fucking ready to get in there and really spit some shit.
Yeah, man. Make sure you're
and like with Old Dirty, Old Dirty, he would just wild out, man. He would just buck wild out there, man. So it's like, can you really get with the way he's gonna be putting his shit out there, man? So it's like sometimes you gotta let those guys get their floor space to do their fucking thing.
Man, you heard the story of Old Dirty doing that Mariah Carey song?
Hold on, now I'm ready now. I haven't heard too much. You know, I always hear rumors about Mariah Carey and her legendary connection with hip hop artists. Man, but what's you heard?
Shit, man. I forget the song. I think it was called Dream or some shit like that. I had ODB and Mariah Carey on it. ODB comes to the studio like 4 fucking hours late. He's like, yo, let me get some cigarettes and some Moet. So they get him that shit, and he just sits there for like another fucking hour. Goes in the booth for like 10 minutes, says one line, and then goes to sleep for like 4 fucking hours. When he wakes up, he does another line, and then he just bounces to get food or some shit. So everybody's just sitting there in the studio for like 14 fucking hours. This guy, ODB came in and did 2 lines and then just left. So I forget like the specifics, but they called him back. Mariah Carey was like, let me hear that. And there was nothing to fucking hear but the first line because that's all he did. He came back. Some more shit went down, the same type of shit. It took him like 14 hours to record that one verse. And then when he finally did it, he just freestyled that shit in like 5 minutes and finished it. And that was it. He was just a wild ass nigga, man. He was asking for Newports and shit. Like, who the fuck goes to the studio and asks for cigarettes? I'm an engineer, so I've been asked for a lot of wild shit from artists, man. But I've never in my life been asked for a pack of Newports.
So look, that's what you gotta understand. That is a guy who on MTV. He was on MTV cameras following him around in a limo with his wife, you know, and his kids. He goes to pick up his food.
I remember that, yeah. That's back when it wasn't even the card; it was actual stamps too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But he had his ID, and that is his album cover for his debut album. You know what I'm saying?
Brooklyn Zoo.
His full stamp ID.
That's another classic, man. You know what I'm saying? Another solidified classic in history. ODB, just his character alone is a classic in hip hop history. You know what I'm saying? I put him up there with like Cameron. They kind of like characters in this game. You know what I mean? They stand on their own. They could have TV shows if they wanted to. You know?
That is definitely ODB, Big Baby Jesus, whatever you want to call him. Is definitely a guy who lives on his own terms. I can only say one of the funniest things that I ever heard from him was that he was on, I believe, TRL or something on MTV. And somebody called in and asked him, you know, other artists are out here doing stuff for their communities and things like that, giving money. And he was like, what are you trying to do for your community? And this man simply said, nothing.
Oh, shit. Like, what has my community done for me, right? Shit.
I'm just like, yo, that is funny. Okay, well, look. All right, so let's take a chance here, man. Let me see what you think of Run the Jewels, man.
Killer Mike, he's kind of like, his style is real, original, is unique. I like that. I like the way he comes off his flow. He could definitely spit. And his producer, who the fuck was it? Who's that group? It's Killer Mike and
like I say, it's a duo. It's a rhyme duo. It is featuring this dude LP.
Yeah, LP. Okay, he's from back in the megahertz days back then. I remember him from like Copyright and all them niggas. But motherfucking yeah, he of course his beats is fire. You know what I'm saying? That whole angle is tied up tight. I just a lot of the topics that he talks about, I don't vibe with. You know what I'm saying? Like he talks about weed like it's a thing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like that. So I just don't relate to it. So I don't fuck with it. But at the same time, I acknowledge that that shit is dope. They got skills, bro.
Okay, I definitely feel like they definitely come from a different angle. Definitely shout out to Killer Mike and Trigger Warning. I definitely was very interested in his series there. I hope that Netflix can see the way they get back to a second season. It was very interesting we were trying to do there. But also I just felt like, man, Killer Mike, man, was I definitely feel like, and this is also going to connect once I'm done kind of talking about Killer Mike a little bit more. It'll also weirdly connect into a truly great duo that I want to discuss, and that would be Outkast. So when he started out with Outkast and everything like that, and killed the whole world, and killed his part in the whole world, a lot of people, might not have been able to go out on their own once he came out with his own song and Big Boy co-signed on it, and he was just going out there. A lot of people might not have been able to survive with, just kind of going out there doing their own thing, but he's figured out a way. He stayed true to what he wanted to do, and he's always somebody that ever since he got on, I've always been checking for Killer Mike, and that's all thanks to another great duo, that was out there, Outkast, man. I would definitely say Outkast for me. I would just start off by saying Outkast for me, along with T.I., and Goody Mob, they definitely made me have a healthy respect for Southern hip hop.
Yeah, for sure.
I was having some issues before, with them, and another great duo, which I also want to discuss and put a pin in them as well, UGK.
R.I.P.
Big Ball and MJG. Another group that I want to also put out there, and possibly discuss, because I mean, we can do this for as long as we want. So if we have the time and we have the energy to discuss them, I want to discuss them because those are definitely groups. And also with individuals, I want to make sure I acknowledge all of them. With Pastor Troy and guys like that, they gave me a healthy respect for for Southern hip hop. Man, they let me know that shit go hard. That these motherfuckers think it ain't just saying random shit, repeat the same shit over and over again. We say some shit, and they did. They motherfuckers did. Journey the Tennessee, by the way. When I say other people say rest in peace, I say peaceful journey because we don't know, what fucking happens when it goes dark. So for certain people, we don't know it's reincarnation or some other shit. So that's why I say peaceful journey because you don't know what path, going on the other side is going to take you. So
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I was same situation. I wasn't really into the Southern rap. It was fucking stupid to me, man. It was just talking about nonsense shit that we don't do in New York, like drinking that lean and all that shit. Screwed up and chopped. They slowed down all the beats. We definitely wasn't fucking with that in New York. But in the South, that shit went heavy. When I went down to Florida, they fuck with that shit, and that's where I kind of, it's always around. You always hear it. You get familiar with it. Your barriers go down a little bit more. You can hear it more openly. That's when I really started to realize some of these dudes can really spit out here, man. They really put thought and time into their music, and it's good quality fucking music.
it really is, and I think Outkast was definitely Outkast, and I would definitely say T.I., but of course in individual situations we'll talk about T.I., but of course we'll focus on duos today as we debut. So Outkast is definitely somebody, man, that as a group, I mean, these two guys were just, I mean, a hellified duo, what I'm saying, to be sure, man. I mean, album after album just fucking proved that. Gemini, fucking Southern flavors, the Cadillac funky music, stank. I mean, you just cannot, those albums are just fucking like, just they go so fucking hard. And I'm going to step out and say, man, that fucking Andre 3000, man, is, in my opinion, in the top 20. He is in the top 20 of greatest MCs of all time.
Okay, I'll give you that. All right. That's...
Top 10 is going to be hard.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, that show, I mean, that episode, now I feel like we got an episode coming down the pike on that. of are we going to do a top 20? Are we going to do, because the top 10 is going to be fucking hard. I know.
I mean, we could run it down. It don't matter. We could do the top 100 if we wanted to, man. Fuck it. There's enough MCs out there. I'm saying.
It is, but I'm going to tell you, but once we get to that damn top 10, it is going to be fucking difficult. I fucking know it. It's just, it's so much, man. It's going to be hard. Somebody has got to get fucking squeezed out. And I mean, and I guess the best way to do it is to sort of maybe a scoring system. I mean, is that going to be the best way to figure that type of shit? A scoring system or category system? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to lyrics or body of work, or you know, what I'm saying, should we eliminate album sales out of the picture completely?
Yeah, man. Definitely, album sales don't matter at all. I'd say there's just a few standards that we should definitely go by objectively, though, not personal opinions. You know, stage presence, mic presence. Can you cipher? Can you freestyle off the top of the head? Can you write a song that people can put their mind into and come back? Can you write hooks? Do you have, you know what I'm saying, all these different things? Can you ride a beat? Can you flow? Do you have delivery? All these rules that people forgot still apply to being a dope MC. You know what I'm saying? So we could look at it like that. We could take points off, points on, whatever the fuck, going based on these merits. You know what I'm saying? Just who's really nice.
Okay, and I'm gonna take this moment, this moment where he ended to say to compliment my partner here, because you know I don't, you know, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. You know, when I speak a little bit on our private chats here, we have our virtual office and we have a little private chats. But he was, you know, he was a little concerned that he felt like, you know, the way he measures his words, as he put it very profoundly, that he might, you know, so that he might take away from the entertainment, you know, value of the actual show if we went live. But I gotta say, I don't know about anybody else, but I gotta fucking say that hearing him, I mean, I don't think. I think live would have worked out completely well. All you know, so although, hey, like I said before, recording it is absolutely cool with me. But I'm just saying, sort of complimentary tone that you know, I think he would have absolutely did well live, and I don't think it would have been any fucking problems though. So,
Or we could do them live from now on. This seems cool to me too, man. Fucking you know, back to this duo shit real quick though, man. You know, I'm gonna just go ahead and say Bad Meets Evil. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the top groups right there. They don't even have that one album out. That's it, and they're just nice. Like who's fucking with those two?
and say that again.
Bad Meets Evil. Who's lyrically coming off as hard as them? You know, as a duo.
Oh, okay, okay. See, let me do this, folks. Let me do this because I've heard that name. I fucking heard that name. And I just gotta fucking make sure that my mind is working the right way, because sometimes, you know, I may think, okay, I may think is one thing and I may be completely wrong about this. So before
Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna take another piss break. I'll be right back.
oh, no problem. I'll keep it on. Oh, okay. Yeah, oh, of course, of course, of course. I do apologize, folks. Sometimes I was being kind of lame here. I was being lame, and I do apologize for that. Because I'm sitting here thinking that I didn't know and I didn't want to go. But it is. Bad Meets Evil is, of course, Eminem and Royce the 5'9". Yeah, he's right. You're not going to get a more vicious lyrical MC combination than Bad Meets Evil. Eminem and fucking Royce the 5'9". Yeah, you're going to be hard pressed to put together two MCs that are going to give you as much range and as much skill and as much, you know, viciousness and thought and intelligence as Royce the 5'9" and Eminem. Detroit Rock City's finest, right there. You know, I mean, yeah, you're gonna be hard pressed. You know, so he's definitely right on that one. I definitely have to say that he's absolutely right. All the hype that he had with that one album, yeah, that's all you need, because you, again, the body of work that brings them together, their history that brings them together. That one album, you know, anytime they want to come out with another album, you know, it's going to be it's going to be on some shit. You know that. So that is, yeah, we definitely have to put. They definitely go tops as far as greatest duo with a bullet because definitely because of what they're bringing to the table right off and their history, their collaborations together before now definitely showed to make that work. So, but let's see. I think we're having trouble here. Gotta get a female. I gotta get a female duo here right away if we can. But because again with salt and pepper, and then yeah, okay, what is the essential?
All right, we're back. What's going on? Did you guys did you go on about that or?
Oh yeah, I did, and I didn't want to jump out there and be wrong, but then I looked it up, and of course I was right that it was, as I explained, Royce the 5'9" and Eminem, Bad Beats Evil, and yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, their body of work, their history, their collaborations together before, their chemistry, all of that. One album, you know what I'm saying? That one album just lets you know what they're about. Anytime you come up with another album, it's gonna be fire. There's no worries there.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. I mean,
But
that shit was so fire that they waited like 10 fucking 15 years to come out with that album, and it still hit just as hard as it would have hit on day one, So it's like, come on, man.
I mean, that's what skills do. When you have those skills, man. I mean, it just doesn't matter, man. Some of those guys, like a Big Daddy Kane, I feel like, man. Some of those guys, they don't lose that skill.
All right, folks. Best that I could do to get it up to equal billing here. Halfway. I'm pretty much at halfway point, but I really have some other things that I have to be accomplishing in this day before we go into the evening time and start doing some evening time things and evening time shows, possibly. So you don't want to overextend right now because we will be doing another Mr. Williams neighborhood with another fond look at the show as we continue to generate interest because we will be bringing back the show. So, excuse me, so as we time to go here. It's time to get to that singing, folks, for all the little chillins out there. And it's a great feeling to know you're alive. It's a great feeling of fire growing inside. As the truth wakes you up, you will say, I will fight against the tyranny today. It's a great feeling, a great, great feeling that I'll be back when the day is new. I'll have more info to share with you. You'll have conspiracies you'll want to figure out, and I will too. So, once again, folks, enjoy this great, great day that we're having out here. But in my case, and being here in Virginia, it's sort of a weird, interchangeable day. It could be raining later on today. You never know. But as I always say in every show, stay woke and stay wary and be the best you can be because no one knows how to be you better than you and no one knows better what's better for your life than you. So solidarity, common ground, and equality for all folks.